First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rekah Kwadash, and above all those great millstone, while unto truth, and also to those elect that scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom, and come back here today with another great, powerful lesson, the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. So the title of today's lesson is The Days Are Evil. So I like to say Shalom to all I listen and learn. Hope this will help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today's lesson, I have a quick news article here by Fox News. And it reads that Carolina Good Samaritan opened fire on carjacker before stolen truck mows him down. So we're going to constantly see a lot of these different things because we know that Lord is constantly bringing forth a judgment. We know that what the love of many is constantly waxing colder and colder. We know what blood touching blood. We know killings, a lot of killing, a lot of murderers, each and every, a lot of murder every day. We seeing this left and right. And also we know that do thy spirit is do thy will spirit is constantly at work, and what the spirit of vengeance. So do anyone perish being innocent? So we know that what judgment is now at hand. Also the Lord said what first my judgment would start at the house of Israel. And also a Wisconsin man is charged with dismembering a 19-year-old black female, Sadie Robinson, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So these things don't constantly happen, never trust thy enemy. So, we seeing these things, left and right, all sorts of senseless death, they're going to constantly increase. That's why you got to redeem the time, what I'm saying? Use your time wisely, and one thing about it, because what the days are evil. We coming upon our perilous, a dangerous time, a time of trouble that we've never seen before. And also an Ohio man confronts a Uber driver before fatally shooting her. And one thing about it said that he threatened, called, or whatever. But one thing about it that we already knowing that the Lord is using that left hand. We know that the devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath. So we seeing these things gonna constantly increase right before the great and glorious return of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. So let's read this again. Fox News, it says here, North Carolina Good Samaritan opened fire on carjacker before a stolen truck mows him down. So one thing about it, he's trying to put the law in his own hand, and he lost his own life. Well, let's read a little bit more of this. It says here, a North Carolina carjacking suspect faces murder charges after police say he mowed down a Good Samaritan who helped thwart a carjacking attempt and died after opening fire on the suspect, who stole the victim's work truck instead before fleeing the scene in the eyewitness video taken outside a Burger King restaurant. So we already know that, these things right here, it wasn't, a lot of people say, oh, it was a freak accident. Oh, he lost his life. He was a good person. One thing about it, you got to pay for your sins in your past life, in this life. There's no new thing under the sun. One thing about it, the Lord is constantly bringing forth judgment each and every day through the spirit and the power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. So let's go to let's go to this next article I have here about this Ohio man. Let's go here. Another quick Google search here. It says man fatally shoot Uber driver after scammers target both of them, authorities say. So one thing about it, that it's saying this man that someone was threatening him, and then the woman come to the house, and he jumped right into action. The devil's getting ready to come down with great wrath. So we seeing that this old red devil went straight to what he knows best. That blessing, that sword. So we seeing right now that this woman lost her life trying to do her job. And one thing about it, we already knowing that this was judgment from the Lord. A lot of people cannot receive that. Oh, she was a nice old lady. She was one thing about it, Lord bless her soul, and I'm hoping that the Lord will have mercy upon it. Also, this young naive Israelite woman, 19-year-old Sadie Robinson, that the Lord will have mercy upon her also. But we know that judgment is going out. There is no respect of person. One thing about it, the Lord said, I come not to bring peace but a sword. And the middle, Lord, we constantly warning you left and right. The Lord is not playing. Who can escape the hands of Yahweh? By Hashem Yahushua, whether you old or young, it does not matter. You know what I'm saying? You could be an infant. The Lord can take you at any given time. And one thing about it, the power is in his hand. The Lord's in perfect control. You know, shall a trumpet be blown in the city? And the Lord has not done it. Shall evil be done in the city? And the Lord has not done it. So the Lord, you know, hey, he's in control of all things. The Lord have power over life and death. And one thing about it, the days are evil. And one thing about it, constantly increasing. We're seeing it right now. These dark, perilous times are fast approaching. So now, let's go here and get to the book Zephaniah. Let's get this one right quick in the blue letter. Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse, and we'll start the video. Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 5, it said, the just Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity every morning. He bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. So one thing about it, so we're seeing that right now. We're seeing that the unjust knoweth no shame. So we're seeing all sorts of senseless killing, all sorts of shootings, you know, left and right. People becoming unalive. Many shall be taken in a great number because the Lord is constantly bringing forth judgment. One thing about it, you know, the body count is getting ready to be great. So let's read this in the NLT version. It said, the Lord is still there in the city, and he does no wrong day by day. He hands down justice, and he does not fail, but the wicked know no shame. So one thing about it, that we know that the 2/3, they're gonna constantly get more wickeder, you know, each and every day. And one thing about it, they know it, no shame right now. We're seeing all these senseless crime. It's gonna constantly increase. And one thing about it, we know what this spirit of vengeance. And one thing about it, you shall reap what you sow. One thing about it, you sow in wickedness, you shall reap the same. So we're seeing that these things are constantly happening left and right, and the Lord is constantly little by little, you know, the writing is on the wall. So one thing about it is that it's going to get so bad, and one thing about it is the Lord is not on your side. You are going to be put to death. We constantly warning you. It is here. It is at the door. So now let's go here to Matthew's chapter 24. Let's go here in let's go here. Matthew chapter 24. Let's get this one right quick. Matthew chapter 24, and we start today's video. Let's go here. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 12. And it reads, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Let's read it in the NLT. It says, sin will be rampant everywhere, and the love of many will grow cold. So that's what we're seeing left and right, you know, increased violence. We're seeing, you know, a lot of people are lovers of themselves, you know, prideful, you know what I'm saying, disobedient, you know what I'm saying, constantly scoffing and mocking the words of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, being very rebellious. You know, they constantly, you know, they hate the good and love the evil. They quick to do evil each and every day. And one thing about it, that, you know, the Lord, you know, we seeing this left and right. So we in these times, we're living in the end time, real time. So we'll start today's video. And after the video, we'll start the lesson. And I hope that you will get edified.
I'm going to let the headlines tell it for itself. I don't know what's happening in the United States of America, but it's getting crazy. Good Samaritan worker, right here. Carjacker.
Nobody is safe anymore.
United States of America, North Carolina. Shit getting crazy here in America.
to reports, authorities say William Brock had been receiving multiple threatening scam calls the morning of March 25th. The calls were concerning an incarcerated relative, and Brock was told to meet at the courthouse to pay a ransom of $12,000 in bail money, or they would kill him and his relative around the same time. Of the call, the lethal Hall received directions from the same person or an accomplice instructing her to go to Brock's home to pick up a package for delivery. Cam video from Hall's car shows her arrive to Brock's home to pick up that package. According to reports from the Clark County Sheriff's Office, Brock allegedly had a gun. This video appears to confirm that the incident report says Brock allegedly took Hall's phone and wouldn't let her leave, and when she tried to go, authorities say Brock then shot Hall. They started fighting, and he shot her 2 more times. Authorities received a call from Brock saying he had shot someone on his property because they were trying to rob him. When units arrived, they found Hall with multiple gunshot wounds, and Brock was bleeding from his head. Hall was flown to Kettering Hospital in Dayton, where she died. Reports say while officials were on scene, Brock's landline phone kept ringing, and when one officer picked it up, the maid on the other line said he was an officer, and the real officer explained what happened and asked the caller to meet, and he agreed, but never showed up.
Maxwell Anderson was charged with murdering and dismembering 19-year-old Sade Robinson. The charges link 2 stories we've been covering for more than a week: the missing woman, Robinson, and body parts discovered in several locations throughout the city and county. Prosecutors now say at least 2 of those body parts are Sade Robinson's, and officers are looking for more of them.
And this home is where prosecutors say Maxwell Anderson killed Sade Robinson after the 2 went on a date last Monday. A few blocks away is where Anderson was taken into custody a few days later. In moments, you will see new video of that arrest in progress. Now, this case is bringing into light the story that has simmered in the shadows for days. While a concerned family was looking for a missing woman, body parts were turning up all across the city of Milwaukee. And now we have more information on why.
Sick son of a hurt my baby.
Sheena Scarborough did not hold back.
Sick son of a gonna pay.
Her hatred for Maxwell Anderson was evident from the moment her daughter's alleged killer walked into the courtroom. Prosecutors say Anderson and Sade Robinson went out to 2 restaurants and bars the night of April 1st, then returned to Anderson's home on South 39th Street. They say at some point that night, Anderson killed Robinson, dismembered her body, then drove her car around while he scattered the body parts in various places.
The allegations in the complaint are abhorrent. It is the highest level of violence imaginable.
Anderson also did Sade's car and lit it on fire. He spoke just once during Friday's hearing.
Do you understand the maximum potential penalties?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anderson's attorney first tried to get the homicide charge thrown out.
And there's nothing in here that says that she died at Mr. Anderson's home.
Sade's mother again lashed out.
So I'd ask you to dismiss that count before we address.
Anderson's attorney then alluded to Anderson being innocent.
Had Mr. Anderson been involved in this horrible tragedy, we would expect one to flee.
But bail was ultimately set at $5 million. Sade's family had been searching for her ever since her disappearance. Authorities used phone records, surveillance video, and home security video to close in on Anderson. He was arrested Thursday, April 4th. Friday brought some answers for the family, but also more questions.
Do something like this to my beautiful baby. She hurt nobody.
And little closure.
Me and my family would never be okay. Imagine trying to bury your niece with no body for the service.
And prosecutors say there are still missing body parts as they continue to look for all the human remains from Sade Robinson. Maxwell Anderson will return to court 1 week from Monday.
Joint press conference was held this morning. The Milwaukee County
So we seeing that, hey, the Lord is bringing forth that judgment, and may the Lord have mercy upon her. What was this young woman thinking about? Young lady, out and about, just like I say, you getting ready to find out who is the devil that the Bible speaks of. The Lord is getting ready to show you. The Lord's getting ready to show this rebellious house. First, my judgment will start at the house of Israel. So we'll start up at verse. Let's start up in Hosea. Let's start up in Hosea. Hosea chapter 4, Hosea chapter 4, and we'll start up here at verse 2. Hosea chapter 4 and verse 2, we get it in the KJV, the blue letter. It says here, it said, by swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out and blood touches blood. Let's get it in the NLT, a little bit more edification. He said, you make vows and break them. You kill and steal and commit adultery. There is violence everywhere. Said one murder after another. So that's what we're seeing left and right. One murder after another. You know what I'm saying? And also we seeing what violence is everywhere. Killing. You know what I'm saying? Murdering, also adultery, all sorts of abomination against Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. So we seeing that, you know what I'm saying, these wicked Eves, they're getting ready to get their mind right. We're seeing right now that the Lord is constantly bringing it forward. We're seeing that this elderly, older a lady, she lost her life also. So we're seeing that these things gonna constantly happen. So we're constantly warning you left and right, warning before destruction. More what? Sorrow, more death, more mournings, more tribulation, more persecution. It's getting ready to come. One thing about it, hey, we constantly telling you left and right, but a lot of people are still asleep. While you're sleeping, the devil is constantly getting busy. So we're seeing it's happening left and right. So let's go here to Job. Let's go here to Job chapter 4. Job chapter 4 and verse I think it's 7. Yeah, Job chapter 4. We'll start at verse 7. Let's highlight this here. Job chapter 4, verse 7 through 9. One moment. Let's get this right here so we can see it a little bit better here. It says here, Job, in the blue letter, Job chapter 4 and verse 7 said, so remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or were the righteous cut off. Verse 8 say, even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. So that's what we're seeing left and right. You get ready to pay for what you have done in your past life, in this life. So that's what the Lord is constantly doing, bringing forth that judgment, and judgment is now at hand. Massive judgment is getting ready to come forth. We constantly warn you left and right. And one thing about it, we know that the famine of the word is fast approaching. Also, verse 9 says, by the blast of the Almighty they perish, and by the breath of his nostril are they consumed. So that's what we're seeing right there. You hear today, you gone tomorrow. Just that quick, if the Lord will, if you live, because the power is in his hand. So let's read it in the NLT. It says here, it says, stop and think, do innocent die? Do the innocent die? So where have the upright been destroyed? So, hey, that's what we're seeing. So a lot of people, you thinking that there was innocent. You don't know what you have done in your past life. If you can receive, and one thing about it is that, we're seeing right now that these dark times are getting worse and worse. Evil times, evils are growing all around us. Verse 8, it said, my experience showed that those who plant trouble and cultivate evil will harvest the same. That's what's happening, we seen it, man. Verse 9, it said, a breath from the Almighty destroy them. They vanish in a blast of his anger. So that's what's happening right now. So we seeing it, left and right. So a lot of people right now, still are going on with their daily life, still seeing all these things that's going around the world. We're seeing what's going over there with Iran and Israel. We're seeing what's getting ready to happen in our own backyard, a civil war, civil unrest, protesting, rioting. We're seeing all sorts of mass shooting, senseless death left and right. We're seeing what the love of many is waxing cold. Also, we're seeing family members killing one another, mothers and daughters killing one another. We're seeing fathers and sons killing one another, and vice versa. So we're seeing right now that the Lord already said that the member of your own household will be your worst enemy, your worst nightmare. So the Lord is causing all these things to happen left and right. The Lord is putting that, what you call that division. The Lord is what? Separating the house. He separate what the good from the bad. We're seeing that the Lord is doing a mighty work. So now let's go here to 2nd Ezra. Let's go here to 2nd Ezra. Sorry about the rambling. 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 6. It said, For wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. So we almost at that sad measure. So the Lord's getting ready to restore this place. Getting ready to set up the kingdom of heaven that dwells in righteousness. So we already know the most evil queendom that ever was erected is what? Babylon the Great, America. This place is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. It's playing out real time. It's making Sodom and Gomorrah look like a welfare case. And one thing about it, it's not going to get any better. Through much tribulation, you shall enter the kingdom of heaven. So now let's go here to Sirach. Let's go here to Sirach, Ecclesiastes chapter 39. Let's go here, because this is what is hard at hand right now. Sirach chapter 39, Sirach chapter 39 and verse 28. And it reads that there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sword strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So one thing about it, we already know these death angels are anticipating, they'll wait on the green light, they get ready to get it popping, and one thing about it, if that light is not in you, you don't have that mark of that, thawah upon you, that, that mark of exemption, when you go to Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 4, if you don't have that on you, you get ready to be totally destroyed. The spirit of vengeance, it's working overtime right now. Verse 29, it said fire and hell and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. So that's what we're seeing also, like these with these forest fire, this hailstorm, a famine, the earthquakes and diverse, but a lot of things are constantly happening all around the world. We're seeing it right now. The Lord is getting ready to bring that fierce vengeance, that fierce indignation, that righteous anger. Verse 30 said, teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. So that's what the Lord's getting ready to use. Lord, you could get eaten by a bear. You could get eaten by dogs. We in that time. The Lord, the Lord said he will choose your delusion, that rebellious house, that to the wicked, for destruction. So we seeing these things are constantly playing out right before our eyes. And a lot of people say, why is this happening? Why is that happening? And one thing about it, because the Lord is causing these things to happen. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So let's go to our last and final script. Let's go here back to the blue letter. Let's go here to Ephesians chapter 5. We'll close out in verse 15. Ephesians chapter 5. We'll start up at verse 15. Salakia. And it reads, says, see then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. Verse 16, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Verse 17, Salakia. Let's go back. Verse 17, it said, wherefore, said, be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. So we seeing that we're very close, so we got to know what the will of the Lord is. You got to know what time that you're living in. You got to be circumspect, know your environment, know that the people that you're dealing with. And also, and one thing about it, you got to constantly watch, pray, and be sober. And also you got to have faith, pray, pray without ceasing. Also, have that walking in the spirit, or walking in by faith and not by sight. Constantly trusting and believing in Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Redeem the time. Why? Does that mean that, spend your time very wisely, what I'm saying? Constantly, be circumspect, look all around you, because in a given time, the devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath. We knowing that we're coming upon this great economic collapse. We knowing that things gonna get very critical, before it get better. The Lord is breaking a staff of the bread, and also the Lord is constantly bringing forth that judgment, so judgment is now at hand. And one thing about it, we got to constantly watch, be vigilant. We're seeing that things are constantly popping off. We're seeing that these prophecies are constantly speaking loud and clear. That's why the prophets are standing on a watch, and they'll stand on fire for Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. So the title of the day lesson, once again, is the days are evil. So I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rikah Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom, Shalom.